In today's video, we're going to be continuing our venture along the Queensbury to Keighley line in part 6, from the Hewenden viaduct towards Cullingworth station. Now in part 5, where we left off at the Hewenden viaduct, we took a look around the viaduct and at the great scenery around. Now in the trees that you can see ahead is where we're going to be continuing our venture along towards Cullingworth station. There are many things that we're going to uncover in the next part of the venture. Continuing our route along the line from Hewenden viaduct, in the last part, we're going to go down towards Cullingworth station. So there's a look back at the fantastic Hewenden viaduct where I left off in the last part. I'll just give you one final shot before we head off back. There's just another look back at the Hewenden viaduct going back towards the Willesden station. Now if you haven't seen part 1, part 2, part 3 and part 4, please do check them out. So we're going to continue now down towards Cullingworth and our route towards Keighley. As we head off the viaduct, we come onto an embankment and you've got a horse mount just here. Now you've got a wooden post which is an old railway sleeper, and it gives you a bit of information on what's beyond the viaduct. Just found this little information board about the Hewenden viaduct, as it gives you more thorough info. Well, on the other side there's a picture here showing, it's like a photograph of a painted picture of a train, and it's exactly in the spot where we're stood now. So we are on that embankment that I was referring to, and if I just turn to the left, that train would have been right to the left of me here, curving onto the viaduct. I mean, I'd love to come up here in the snow and see what it looks like, because every time I've been up here it's been a nice warm day. So we've come to the end of the embankment. Now it's been slightly demolished at the bottom here because there used to be a bridge that carried the line over Doll Lane. That's a nice stone looking bridge, and you can see the abutments that are still remaining, and there's been slight repairs to the top of the bridge. You can see here where it has been demolished. Now these stones look like they're modern repairs. You can see where they would have demolished at the top there. And this is just a view from the other side. So that's looking back towards Willesden station. The Hewenden viaduct's just hiding behind these trees here, following the route of the railway along that embankment and then over this demolished bridge over Doll Lane. Just decided to come back and have a little venture onto the bridge. Yes. No signs of any railway. But this here, you can see where the trains would have carried over the top of Doll Lane, heading towards Cullingworth. So majority of the track bed goes over from where that bridge went over Doll Lane, going through here. Now this Great Northern Trail has been converted, so this part of the track wasn't the track bed, but the train would have come in from this way, and the train where the track would have gone looks like it's gone to a higher level now due to obviously this Great Northern Trail being converted. A lot of spoil would have been filled in. Now coming towards an embankment or into like a small cutting on the track bed. So it looks like the track would have come straight off this bridge, and then looks like we meet the alignment of the track bed on the path, and we're coming up towards a bridge Clearly see this was a cut in here which has been filled in, because when you come to this bridge, notice how the ground goes up. So from the embankment it would have followed the route through into this cut in here, going underneath this bridge. Now to the left of me up there you would have had the quarries. So heading back into the cutting now, again you can see where we're at a higher level. I'm guessing we're probably about 10 or 15 feet higher than where original trap bed would have been. So we've come to this bridge now that you can see. It's a stone bridge. So here's the bridge. We're stood underneath it. Again you can see how much the track is a lot at high level. It's a nice looking structure. Some wing walls at the side there. Nice stone bridge this. Still in good condition. We're now going to continue our venture towards Cullingworth Viaduct and Cullingworth Station. We approached the site of where there was a branch off to a sawmill and a quarry. Now according to the maps, the early 1900 maps, it does state that there was a sawmill peering off to the left, so I'm guessing that this painted picture here shows that branch off up there. Now you can see in the distance there the Cullingworth Viaduct, which is where we're just about to come towards. Got a culvert here, but that isn't running at all. But there is still some a channel that goes up there, but doesn't look like this has run for years. Now just in the distance we've got the Cullingworth Viaduct, but to the left here is where, according to the maps, that branch off to the sawmill did actually come off around here somewhere. We're now on Cullingworth Viaduct, which was the third viaduct on the line. Now I call this one the Ugly Duckling because it's far from as pretty as Thornton and Hewenden, but I'll show it you anyway. I've got some good drone shots of it. It's only a small one going through the village of Cullingworth, so let's take a look at what's around. See, it does have a slight curve heading north to the right towards the Cullingworth station, sorry. Now they do look like they were, this one was built out of stone, and round here it's nowhere near as pretty as the Thornton and Hewenden. It's got industrial estates, and on the other side we're looking at it being more residential. As we're coming to Cullingworth, some nice, well, there's houses down there. That's looking back to where we've walked from the Hewenden Viaduct. It's worth mentioning that this viaduct took just over a year to complete, and it does consist of 9 arches, and it's 150 yards in length. You can see where the Cullingworth Viaduct is just over there, and it now the track bed does continue. Now it looks like there was a walkway going towards Cullingworth Station, but now there's a new housing development being built on the track bed. So what we're gonna have to do is venture off the line and hopefully pick up the track bed on the other side, but I'm not sure how much we're gonna get to see because this is all blocked now. So we've just headed off the track bed and we've come down to this information board, and it shows a photo painting of, you can see the Cullingworth Viaduct where we've just come off, and there were 2 coal drops which were just here. Now there is still one remaining, so obviously the painting shows the coal drops. Obviously one still survives. The railway wagons were shunted along a siding on top of the coal drops to be unloaded on the waiting carts, or there were road lorries around, and it would then deliver coal to the local homes and mills. Now the local coal drops were built in 1894 for the local merchant J.J. Broadbent, who paid an annual rent to the railway company. Now it says they were abandoned during the Second World War, with all the coal then being unloaded in the nearby goods yard. And stone was also transported by the railway and was quarried at the many wells, which was later bought by the Woodywis family, who settled in Cullingworth at the Turf House. So that's those quarries we're referring to further down there. So just here, you've got one of the core drops. You can see it's been filled in and partially demolished, so it can form the walkway off the road onto the bridleway. So here is where the two core drops would have been. One down there you can clearly see has been filled in, and this one has been totally filled in. See the demolished wall here, and if you look back to that picture, this is what we'd have been looking at. So the wagons would have been unloading coal here, tipping it down into the coal drops, and then be taken to the local homes and the mills. So down there we'd have had two coal drops. Now before you get to Cullingworth station, obviously this housing estate has been built on the site of a goods shed before you get to the station. Now there's no access at the back, so what we're going to do is we're going to have a little walk through the estate and see if we can pinpoint the site of the Cullingworth station and the goods shed. So we've come to the site of the Cullingworth station. There is an information board, like, with all the stations on the line: Denholm, Thornton and Willesden station. So here is where we're looking at the site of the station, which we said. Now there is a pathway going down there, so we are going to go down there and scope and see if we can find anything. Yep. Where the housing development is was the site of the goods shed with the siding we can see. Towards the northern section of the station is where the main station would have been occupied. Now as you can see in this picture, this arrow is pointing towards a house where the bridge that you can see on the map is filled in. Wow, we've just come across the original Cullingworth station board. You can see where it was mounted on. Now there is an information board about it here, and it says that the name board, which once stood at Cullingworth railway station, was returned to the village on the 6th of July in 2013, and it was 50 years after it was removed from the platform and abandoned, and it was one of two identical name boards erected by the London and North Eastern Railway Company in 1925 to replace the original Great Northern wood and enamel signs, which dated from the opening of the station in 1884. Now the Cullingworth station closed to passengers in 1955 to all traffic in 1963, and it was demolished a year later, and the name board was then lay broken in thick vegetation before being rediscovered in the 1970s and was removed by the Keighley and Worth Railway. I mean, look at the size of it, it's absolutely massive. Absolutely brilliant find. It's better than finding any old masonry that I've ever found, so it's something different. Now we have been given permission to come into someone's garden just beyond Cullingworth station and document some of this bridge that was beyond the station. So literally, if I spin the camera around, just behind this tree here, you can see where the bridge has been filled in right there. So the line would have literally ran through this couple's gardens. Now I'm not going to film the house, there is a tree here, but we're also having a conversation about the line. But here is where the train would have come underneath, made its way through towards, that's going back towards the Cullingworth station, and this is heading towards Leesmore. But you can see how it's made of this stone engineering, pretty similar to all the other masonries that you've seen on on this line. I mean, we was only going to just document the route of the line, but the owners of the house have let us come into the garden and get this footage. So here, literally, you could see the size of the whole bridge. Now, it does go into the next door neighbour's garden, but you could see how wide the bridge was. So remember, this line was 2 tracks, but that is absolutely brilliant. And I can't believe we're standing where a railway would have gone through. I've just found a little peephole. You can see the other side of that bridge, and it's been filled in. So that was the site of the Cullingworth station, and then the line would have continued through that bridge which has been in build. So just beyond where the Cullingworth viaduct was, we are going back on ourselves, but we've got a clearer shot of where the station was. Now you can see here that there was a walkway that was built on the site of the old station, and the route of the line would have carried on right through here where they're building on, and it would have made its way through right here to that bridge, to the house where the Cullingworth station was. Anyway, hope you all enjoyed this part of the exploration on the Queensbury to Keighley line. Please like and subscribe, comment on the video. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Would you stay around? Can we make it till tomorrow? Are we out of time? Are we